Good evening, everybody, from none other than it is the Big Moon Arcade, people. That's where we're at. We're hanging out. That's where I'm hanging out. It's just me. I hang out here a lot because, I have an arcade and it's cool. But tonight we're going to do something a little different. I thought it would be cool to kind of showcase the games in here. And, there's going to be new games. It's going to change all the time, but every single one of these machines has a story, and I think that people are interested in that story because when I've heard other people's stories about their machines, it's really cool. So we're gonna talk about some of these, and I got these two sitting here together, Arkanoid and Attacks. I'm gonna talk about each one of them. Okay, I'm gonna talk about where they came from. I'm gonna try to remember what I paid for them. I'm going to share that with you. That whole subject of, how much did you pay for something? People don't like to talk about that. I ain't afraid to tell you, man. I'll tell you what I paid for it if I can remember. But I'm going to start here with the Attacks. This was a game on Facebook Marketplace. There's other videos on Fussel's Arcade about this. It had a Donkey Kong Jr. marquee, and it had a 48-in-1 board in it. And it actually worked. It had, dookie crap, micro switch joysticks. It sucked. So I basically redid the whole machine, the cabinet wise, new T-molding on it. It's got the blue T-molding, painted it all on the outside. Actually, I'm sorry, this one I didn't paint. This has vinyl on it. I had to glue down some of the vinyl, but it's vinyl sided, so it's actually really nice. And the control panel, of course, had to redo it. Got this control panel overlay came from Arcade Superstores in Glendale, California. Got it off of eBay. And, it's just a great kind of a generic control panel. And this button layout was already kind of set up for it, which, works for a whole bunch of stuff, whether you're right or left-handed. And we could put a lot of different JAMA boards in here, and this control panel layout will work. But it also works with Attacks. Okay, now Attacks was from 1990. It was from a company called Leland in England, and it's a really pretty obscure, I don't know, maybe rare, sort of, kind of, not something a lot of people are familiar with, but just a really super cool game, and. It's in a Dynamo cabinet. So, and I think I paid $350 maybe for this cabinet as it sat. And like I said, it had a 48-in-1 board in it that worked. It has a Wells Garner 4900 monitor in it that I rebuilt. And, it looks good. So, now, I kind of want to do these two games together, because they got some similarities here. That's a Dynamo cabinet. Okay, now you notice this one has the curvature right here. Okay, and this one doesn't. Okay, but they're both Dynamo style cabinets. The coolest thing about a Dynamo cabinet is you can take the monitor and flip it sideways or put it straight up and down, and you don't have to do anything. It's made to do that, the way the thing mounts in there. Same with this one. You can turn it horizontally or vertically. So that one's vertical, that was horizontal. Either way, it works like a boss, people. So let's talk about the Arkanoid here a little bit. Arkanoid, conversion game. And it's just an awesome game. So this cabinet I found in a storage unit in Decatur, Alabama, with Arcade Richard, my buddy, Arcade Richard. And he sold me this cabinet for $400 with it's got an original Taito Arkanoid board in it. Haven't really done a whole lot to the cabinet other than just clean it up. It's one of the only cabinets that has casters on it. It's got little wheels on it, which is really cool for moving it around. Not really cool for anything else. But these controllers are pretty rare, a little sought after. You can see there's a little jiggle there. That's just kind of what happens to them. The controller works great. I've got several extras of these too. They have little optical wheels, kind of like a joystick has. Not a joystick, but a trackball. And same type of system, but it uses a wheel that just makes this thing go back and forth. Has a really unique feel to it. Very sensitive, very, very precise controller. Super cool. Fun fact, the monitor that was in this game sucked so bad. It was shot. It was a K7000. Which are great monitors to rebuild and all that, no problem. But the tube was just shot, burned, really crappy, dim image. But you can see this tube is really killer, okay? This tube was in a television set sitting alongside the road that I got for $0 because I stopped and picked it up and took the tube out of it. And there it is. So that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, in a lot of cases, you can use a television tube out of an old TV that's been sitting around forever in the closet or the barn or the wherever and make an arcade monitor out of it. I've always said a old TV is really just a arcade monitor waiting to get out. And that's really what it is. So that is an old TV screen, and now it's an awesome Arkanoid arcade monitor. So there it is. Both dynamo cabinets. Different control panel setups, both extremely cool. So thanks for coming along, and we're going to go down the line here over the course of the next few weeks, and we're going to talk about each one of these other games here and kind of the story behind them. And some of them really, really have a cool story. Some of these things really deserve to have their story told. Some of them were saved from trash piles. There's some crazy. This is one of them right here. That one right there, the old Junior Pac-Man, awesome. You wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't even believe it. Just trust me, it was an absolute train wreck. This one too, at least as big a train wreck, maybe the biggest train wreck I've ever fixed. That thing was a disaster. It was so bad that it couldn't even stand up under its own weight without collapsing because the entire bottom was rotted out. Not rotted out anymore. Fixed it. So anyway, there it is. I appreciate you coming along. I hope you enjoy the Big Moon as much as we do. And we will see you on the next video.